Hey everybody, this is Dark Guardsman. We're back with a quick tutorial. So a few people have asked how to actually get the fluid outputs working for the machines. I thought it would be straightforward because it's just about what you would see with most mods. You are going to have to configure the sides in order to get it to more or less work. This, I guess, was not as straightforward as I thought it was going to be. I kind of expected some people to kind of figure it out from existing videos up on YouTube and the streams and everything else. So to get the machines to work, you are going to have to get yourself the adjuster tool. This can be found, of course, in the creative tab if you're just testing, or you can craft it with the recipe provided. There is support for mechanism IC2 and thermal expansion recipes to get you guys going and getting the recipe relatively straightforward and cheap in terms of getting stuff, as well as slightly different so you're not overlapping with everything else. Now, if you hear me mistakenly call this a wrench, it's because in the code this is literally called a wrench, but it is called an adjuster on surface value to make sure it's easier to find separate from everybody else's tool. Now, the adjuster is kind of unique. It is a multifunctional tool similar to the mechanism configurator. Not exactly, because this is going to be used for far more than a configurator and far more than a wrench. Now, with using the adjuster, if you hold down Control and Shift at the same time and use your mouse scroll wheel, you can change the mode of the tool. So by default, we have the fluid adjuster mode, which is currently the only mode that is supported for use at the moment. Item adjuster mode, which will be used in the future to allow you to control the size of inputs and outputs. Rotation adjuster mode, which will allow you to rotate the machines and do other things with them. And redstone adjuster mode, which will allow you to configure redstone inputs and outputs for the machine in the future. But right now, the fluid adjuster mode is the only one that works. Now, when working with machines, machines will default with all sides of that machine being able to support energy connections and fluid connections for input. In order to get output, you are going to have to actually mess with output. The corresponding collars will correspond to the tank collars themselves. If you have some color deficiency and can't see this, I will try to figure out some way in the future we can make this a lot easier to do. But for the moment, these are color coded. This is blue, this is green. Try to pretty much just remember any input is going to be blue, any output is going to be green, and with the exception of a few of these which will have a second output which will almost always be yellow. The boiler, for example, this one's going to be green, this one's going to be yellow. I will try to figure out some way to make that easier to use. I'll see about maybe putting some numbers on here, symbols. We'll figure it out. If you have an idea and want to let me know, go ahead and let me know on that one. That can help you guys use it as best as possible. But for working with this, right click will adjust the size. So right now I'm in blue mode. This will change the input output. And if I hold down shift and scroll, I can then go to green and I can mess with the output of this side. Once you have it set to output on this side, it will by default try to output to that tube, so you don't need any special tools to extract with. You can quite literally take a tank from BuiltCraft, for example, put right behind the machine, and as long as there would be fluid in that machine, it will be powered and everything else, it will output on its own. This does mean you can chain the machines together. For example, take the chemical extractor, put it right behind the stuff, and get the machines to dump into each other to save yourself on pipes and everything else. It will be a little bit more difficult on inputs. Inputs do have to be done via pipes input, so you will have to have some kind of device pushing fluids into the machine. I may look at doing automated input for this in the future, but probably not for these machines. Anyways, that's been how to get the inputs outputs to work, and I will see you guys later.